Imagine a family so wealthy that the word trillion starts to make sense. A dynasty where fortunes soar past billions, into the vast realm of trillions. Welcome to the world of the House of Saud. Today, we're diving into the trillion-dollar life of Saudi Arabia's ruling royal family, how they built it, how they live it, and what it means for the future. Let's begin. Before the glittering skyscrapers of Riyadh and the convoys of Rolls-Royces, there was a desert and a vision. In the early 1900s, Abdulaziz ibn Saud, a determined tribal leader, began a campaign to unify the scattered regions of the Arabian Peninsula. After years of warfare, negotiation, and alliance building, he proclaimed the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia in 1932. At that time, the country was poor, dependent on pilgrimage revenue and subsistence trade. But beneath the sand lay something that would change everything: oil. In 1938, American geologists drilling in Dhahran struck black gold. The discovery was like hitting the cosmic jackpot. Within decades, Saudi Arabia went from desert kingdom to one of the richest nations on earth. The House of Saud, the royal family ruling the nation, became synonymous with both political authority and unimaginable wealth. As oil exports exploded, so did the royal treasury. The family's control of resources wasn't just financial, it was structural. Every pipeline, refinery, and oil field flowed upward to the monarchy. From that foundation, the House of Saud built a dynasty unlike any other, a family that blends tribal loyalty, Islamic legitimacy, and petrodollars into a single powerhouse of influence. Their story isn't just about money, it's about control, continuity, and the transformation of a desert empire into one of the most strategic powers on the planet. So, how rich is Trillionaire rich? Let's put it in perspective. Most billionaires count their fortunes in private asset stock portfolios, real estate, businesses. The House of Saud's wealth dwarfs that scale. Estimates hover around $1.4 trillion. But even that's conservative when you include indirect assets tied to the state's oil reserves and sovereign wealth funds. Saudi Aramco, the world's most profitable company, is effectively under royal control. The company's valuation at times surpasses $2 trillion. And although Aramco is a national corporation, its success and profits have historically benefited the royal family directly. Think of it as owning the ultimate cash printing machine. The family itself has thousands of members, but the real wealth and power are concentrated in a smaller inner circle: the king, crown prince, and a few hundred senior royals. Many are billionaires in their own right, holding shares in global firms, vast real estate portfolios, and luxury assets scattered across Europe, America, and Asia. To illustrate the scale, if the House of Saud's fortune were divided equally, each core member could still be wealthier than Jeff Bezos or Elon Musk. But it isn't divided. The wealth is tightly managed through state mechanisms, ensuring the family remains at the top of both political and economic hierarchies. When your family fortune sits in the trillions, luxury becomes a lifestyle, not an indulgence. Across Saudi Arabia and abroad, royal palaces sparkle like miniature cities. Marble floors, Italian chandeliers, gold leaf ceilings, and private zoos hidden behind high walls. The royal family owns hundreds of properties, from the Al Yamma Palace in Riyadh to palatial estates in France, London, and Morocco. Their fleets of private jets, including custom-built Boeing 747s and Airbus A380s, rival national airlines in size. And then there's the art. In 2017, a Saudi prince made global headlines after reportedly purchasing Leonardo da Vinci Salvator Mundi for $450 million, the most expensive artwork ever sold. That wasn't an isolated splurge. It was a glimpse into how deep the royal wallet runs. Yachts like the Serene and Pegasus 8, each worth hundreds of millions, glide to the Mediterranean as floating palaces. Supercars line private garages. Ferraris, Bugattis, Rolls-Royces, many custom-made. But beneath the extravagance lies strategy. Opulence reinforces image. Every purchase, every palace, every lavish event is part of a larger narrative, that of royal permanence, prestige, and unmatched influence. To outsiders, it's a symbol of indulgence. To the family, it's an assertion of power, a reminder that Saudi royalty doesn't just rule a kingdom, it defines a lifestyle beyond comparison. Wealth alone doesn't explain the House of Saud's reach, power does. The The monarchy controls not just resources, but also the rhythm of Saudi life. At the top sits King Salman bin Abdulaziz Al Saud, who ascended the throne in 2015, and his son Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, better known as MBS. MBS, in particular, has rebranded the kingdom's image. He's the face of modernization, from lifting bans on women driving to launching futuristic megaprojects like NEOM, a $500 billion city meant to redefine urban living. But his rule also centralizes power tighter than ever before. The family's influence extends globally. Billions flow into Western tech firms, entertainment companies, and real estate. The Public Investment Fund, PIF, chaired by MBS, manages over $900 billion in assets and invests everywhere from Uber to Newcastle United Football Club. When the Saudis buy, markets listen. Politically, the family's oil leverage makes them indispensable on the world stage. Energy deals, defense contracts, and strategic alliances with the U.S., China, and Russia revolve around Saudi interests. Inside the kingdom, loyalty to the monarchy is deeply woven into society through patronage, appointments, and control of the religious establishment. This fusion of wealth, religion, and governance ensures the family's power isn't just inherited, it's reinforced daily through influence and investment. Even the richest dynasty on earth can't ignore change. The 21st century poses a question no amount of gold can dodge. What happens when the world moves beyond oil? For decades, Saudi Arabia's prosperity has depended almost entirely on petroleum exports. But as global energy markets shift toward renewables, the royal family faces a challenge: how to sustain its trillion-dollar empire in a post-oil world. Enter Vision 2030 Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman's bold roadmap to diversify the economy. It's an attempt to transform Saudi Arabia into a global hub for technology, tourism, and innovation. Projects like NEOM, Qiddiya, and the line promise futuristic living, renewable energy, and entertainment industries on a grand scale. Still, the transition is risky. Oil revenue still accounts for the majority of the national budget. Economic diversification requires not just money, but cultural reform, loosening social restrictions, encouraging entrepreneurship, and attracting foreign talent. The royal family's wealth gives a head start, but also a burden, maintaining lavish lifestyles while funding trillion-dollar reforms. The stakes couldn't be higher. If Vision 2030 succeeds, Saudi Arabia could become a diversified powerhouse, and the family's wealth even more secure. If it fails, the kingdom's vast fortune could face its first real test. From the desert camps to the 21st century boardrooms, from oil fields to space ambitions, the story of the House of Saud is global, complex, and far from finished. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this deep dive, hit like, subscribe, and let us know in the comments what surprised you most about this dynasty's wealth. And I'll see you in the next video.